Good morning, everyone. I'm here today to introduce you to a friend of mine. His name is Popeye. Popeye is a sailor man. Now, on the outside, Popeye looks pretty tough, doesn't he? Like he couldn't be defeated by anything. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Popeye actually has a lot of daily challenges to deal with. Sometimes he's got to help the people that he loves, especially his girlfriend, who's always getting herself into trouble. Sometimes Popeye feels like he's got so many responsibilities on his shoulders that he feels like he's drowning in them. Sometimes he has to deal with people that are mean to him or dislike him, and sometimes he has to deal with a lot of those all at once. And sometimes, when it comes to people who are mean or don't like him, he has to pick a fight to fight off the evil that they represent. So, that sounds like a lot of hard work, doesn't it? And sometimes doing all of this stuff makes Popeye feel stressed out, or sad, or like he's not good enough. That's easy to feel that way when you've got so many challenges to face and you feel like your repertoire is not equipped to deal with them. But, luckily for Popeye, he's got an on-hand solution all the time. Whenever Popeye eats a can of spinach, he immediately becomes strong enough to deal with all the things that he previously thought he couldn't face. So, it sounds similar to us, doesn't it? All of the problems that we have to face on a daily basis. Things like money problems, bad thoughts or struggles with Satan, feeling sad, or trying to help somebody that we love who feels sad. So, if Popeye has spinach, what do we have to call when we feel like we can't cope? Well, the Bible tells us that we can always rely on God's strength. In fact, the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So what does this mean? Does this mean that you'll get instant muscles if you pray to God? No, of course it doesn't. That would be silly. Although, you probably could get some muscles if you asked for them. But no, God provides us strength in all manner of situations, including physical, but also mental and spiritual, which are extremely important in our relationship with God. So, how do we access this magical strength that the Bible talks about? We could do it through prayer and worship. Prayer, of course, is talking to God. It's best done when you're undistracted and maybe by yourself, and you're able to tell God exactly what is bothering you and ask for help or guidance or advice or just the strength to deal with whatever the situation is. Worship is celebrating how great God is. It can be done at church when you're singing together as a family, or it can be just by yourself when you're dancing around the kitchen with your headphones in, listening to songs of praise. Of course, reading the Bible is also a massive part in understanding how and why God strengthens us the way He does. The Bible teaches us how we can talk to God in a manner that strengthens our relationship with Him and enables God to give us all the blessings that He's got in store for us, including the strength to handle the challenges that the world throws at us. It's also important to make sure you take care of yourself. Although God can perform any miracle that He wants us to make sure that we take care of ourselves, and that leaves us strong enough in ourselves to deal with difficulties that we face on a day-to-day basis. For instance, it's probably much harder to take a very important math test at school if you've not had a good breakfast and you haven't slept well the night before. So, what does all of this mean? It means that just like Popeye, and when he eats his spinach during times of trouble, if during times of trouble, and every other time, of course, we turn to God and trust in Him completely and communicate with Him, He will give us whatever is required to deal with the problems that we're facing, even if you and I don't feel like we're strong enough or worthy enough to deal with them. God believes that every one of us is worthy, and He will ensure that we never fail and that we are always appropriately equipped to do what we need to do in His name.